Welcome to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Mukanga, and each week we'll explore how gratitude transforms our lives through powerful stories and insights. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in once more to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Mukanga, and I have a special guest today. She's my true friend, Dr. Hokehe Eko. I love her to pieces, and she's gonna give us the honor of sharing her story with us today. But before we do, I'm gonna ask my friend to introduce herself to the audience. So please, Dr. Hokehe, please let us know a little bit about yourself.
Yes, Valerie. Dr. Valerie, sorry. Thank you so much for having me on here. I love you to pieces too. Yes, and I'm so thankful that you're in my life. So I'm honored to be on your podcast. So I am Dr. Hokehe Eko. I am, what else am I? I'm a mommy of 3 kids who keep me on my toes, and I'm blessed by God. And also I'm a CEO of Glow Pediatrics. It's a virtual practice that's dedicated to children with autism and ADHD. Also, what else am I? I'm an author. I wrote a book called Children's Love Letters, a guide to how your pediatrician spell love. I also am a TEDx speaker about ADHD, which you can find on the TEDx page. And let's see, I love Jesus. I should have started with that. I love Jesus. I am so thankful for all he's done in my life. Without God, I won't be sitting here. So, yes,
Right.
that's me.
That sums it up. And yes, the kids who keep her on her toes, they're lovely kids. We love them. They're so nice, so cute, everything. But anyway, so doctor, please, I would love for us to dive into your story. I'm all ears. I want to know what it is that you want to share with the audience about what God has done for you. That
Okay.
you're grateful.
Yes. I have so much to be grateful for. And a few minutes before we came on and Dr. Valerie said, your gratitude story. I'm like, what story? Which one of the stories? Because we could be here all day talking about stories. But I will start from when I was a junior in college, and I was a pre-med student, right? I was a junior in college, and I had 2 car accidents exactly
Wow.
6 months apart. So the
Wow.
first one, I had a concussion, and I seemed okay. And then the day before, I had just graduated from physical therapy because of my injuries. And then the very next morning, I had another car accident.
Wow.
And both times the cars were totaled. And the second
Wow.
time was worse. I had another concussion, but this time I didn't bounce back as well as I did the first time. So I started to have trouble in class. My memory wasn't as good as it was. I found that my grades were slipping. So my parents took me to see a neuropsychologist who asked me what I would like to be when I grew up, finished school. And I said I wanted to be a pediatrician because I've wanted to be a pediatrician since I was 5, because
Wow.
when I was growing up in Nigeria, my little friend died because her parents didn't have the money to get treat the drugs for asthma. She was having an asthma attack, and so she died. And that's the earliest I can say I wanted to be a pediatrician. I mean, I was petrified of hospitals. I was the kid who you needed 5 people to hold down. Did I just say that out loud? Oh my goodness. So yeah, I was that kid who was scared of the clinic and hospital, and there I was saying I wanted to be a pediatrician to help other kids. Anyways, fast forward back to this office visit where this neuropsychologist, when he heard me say I wanted to be a pediatrician, he said, well, you are less than average in intelligence and you will never go to medical school. So I suggest you go find something else to do.
I cannot.
said, what?
I'm so sorry. First of all, I cannot believe he put it in those terms. You are less than intelligent. What? Oh, no.
Yes. And I drank it all up because it was the doctor talking to me, right? But my parents are also people of great faith, and they're like, who cares what he's talking about? You're going to be a doctor. So anyways, I believed him, which is a key lesson. I believed what he said about me. And I proceeded to fail out of school that semester in college. I mean, I went from the A's to the F's, like straight out. So I was out. I withdrew from college that semester. I was so scared. I mean, my parents would be driving me. I'd be in the front seat. I would be holding the the door handle just because a truck was
Wow.
passing by. I mean, I was just,
Traumatized.
I was traumatized. And then my parents, the next semester came and they were like, no, you're going back to school. I was so my parents are both Nigerians and both PhDs. So if you know anything about Nigerians and education, they don't play
Yes.
about it. So they were like,
Listen.
we don't care what he said. God says you're a pediatrician, so you're going back to school. So I went back to
Period.
school, period. So I re enrolled in college, and to say I struggled was an understatement. I struggled, and I was like, how am I going to make this? But God was with me, right? Because every
Mm,
day they would tell me, you're God's pediatrician, you're God's pediatrician, which brings my second point, right? It's so important to
mm,
have even one person in your life that can speak life to you. So it's
right.
important who you surround yourselves with. So,
Mm,
anyways, they told me that every day, and slowly but surely, I started to believe them. And I made
God.
it through last 2 years of college. I
Hmm.
graduated, and then I was scared to apply to med school because in the back of my head, I was like, "This exam is so hard, the MCAT, blah blah
Yes.
blah. I'm gonna apply
Right.
to nursing school." My sisters were like, "What?" You better put in the application to medical school. What are you talking about? Because I got
Right.
into nothing wrong with nursing. I got into a PhD.
Exactly.
I got into a PhD program at Johns Hopkins to do nursing. And they were like,
Uh-huh.
listen, you need to be in med school.
Yes.
Anyways, I finally got the courage to apply and I applied to
Mm-hmm.
med school and I graduated. And did it stop there? No, because what happened? First day I walked into surgery residency. At
Mm-hmm.
this point, I was married, 5 months pregnant. The guy was
Mm.
like, "This is why we don't want women in medicine. Like, what are
Oh,
you doing here?
the
Looking like
negativity.
this?" So
God.
it was like all it was always something, right? So,
Wow.
anyways, I graduated, and I'm
Mm,
thankful. And yeah, because if my parents hadn't stepped in and just kept speaking life over me, I probably wouldn't
mm,
be sitting here as a pediatrician at all. So
right.
that's my big gratitude story. And I know Dr. Valerie wanted me to talk more about my practice and how I got here. That I call a God moment as well because, and I'm grateful for that. I was in a job where I was being harassed and I was literally holding the window and like, somebody rescue me from here. Every day I was at work.
Wow.
And so I just had this urge to quit. And I said, how am I going to quit with 3 kids and no job? Like,
Right.
that math doesn't add up, right? And
Oh.
so, well, I decided I was going to do it and I trusted God. And so I quit. And then I applied for locums. Well, I applied for locums before I quit. And I got the
Mm-hmm.
locums that gave me a job for 4 months. So I was able to work 1 week a month and still able to take care of the kids and all of that. So God is so amazing. Like
Is it?
when you just trust him and you're grateful for what you have. Because I remember how I
Mm-hmm.
got this job, this locums job. I had
Mm-hmm.
no job, right? I had put taking the kids to school and I was dancing on the street to this song called I've got joy, joy, joy. I was literally dancing on the street. Like who does that, right? But anyways, I decided Jesus liked me dancing on the street, so I did that. Anyways, and then I got a call while I was dancing, and that's when I got the call for the locums job that gave me a job for
Why? Because
four
you were
months.
dancing on the
Yeah.
street.
So gratitude is critical to you living your best life possible. Like I
Yes.
can't say any other way. So I'm gonna pause. I think I've been talking for a long time.
No, you're fine. Please continue. So you said you were saying, it was a miracle, and you remember how you opened your practice, and you remember how you got the locums
Okay.
opportunity by dancing on the street.
I still love to dance on the street anyway, so you might catch me
Trust
one
me.
of these days. Anyways, so um let's see. So yeah, I was doing the locums job and I call it a God moment because as a pediatrician, I was aware that there was
Mm-hmm.
long lists for children, long wait lists for children who needed diagnosis for autism in my
Yes.
state. I mean, I was
Mm-hmm.
aware because I had to send the referrals for them to be on the wait list. But it
Uh-huh.
never really was at the fore of my mind, right? So he brought it to the fore of my mind and he gave me this idea go back to your old job, like 2 jobs away, right? And
Right,
there's a
right.
developmental pediatrician, go shadow, ask him if you can shadow him and learn how to do the autism evaluations. So I did
Okay.
that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I created this mini fellowship for myself. So he said yes. And then I started driving there and getting trained. And that's
Yes.
how I started my practice because And some days I wonder like how did I get here? But I have to go
Right.
back to that moment because so I started there. I started offering evaluations for autism, and then I started doing ADHD because it seemed like some pediatricians didn't feel comfortable. And
Mm,
then at that point, my
mhm.
daughter was about 9 and her lips turned like jet black out of
Okay.
nowhere and her face was breaking out and behavior was changing and I was like what in the world is this?
Right.
So I went to see the dermatologist who said I don't know what this is. I went to the
Wow.
allergist, they did all the food sensitivity, the skin prick test, and they said everything was negative. So that's when I got mad and I was like listen, I'm also a
Mhm.
physician, so you can't tell me there's nothing wrong with this kid. Do you see her? She looks like
Right.
something is going on. So,
Happening.
anyways, I got really desperate and I went online and I was looking and I came across this set of physicians called integrative physicians. And so
Mhm.
I reached out to a couple of them and I told them what was going on with my kid. And so
Mhm.
they recommended I do this specific test. It was a home based test, like testing for
Okay.
food sensitivity. So I did that. Oh my Lord.
Mhm.
My daughter
Mm.
was highly sensitive to wheat, gluten, eggs, dairy, pineapple. Listen, I was the queen of whole wheat bread and the milk with the cream on top, like the really cool milk. Yeah. Anyways, that day I went home and I cleaned out our fridge and like, okay, everybody in this house, we're all gluten free, egg free, dairy free from today. That's it. So do
Wow.
you know within 6 weeks her lips turned black to pink, her face started clearing up. And I said, and
Oh.
so because in medical school we're not trained to a lot about nutrition, right? We're really
Right.
trained how to manage your sickness,
Mhm.
not lots about prevention. So I
Mhm.
went back and I retrained as a holistic pediatrician. And so when I
Okay.
started my practice, it was like the Lord was saying to me, like, okay, well, you have all this other experience. What if you just try teaching the parents about food and all of that? See if you will make a difference in their children's symptoms, like their lack of sleep, their behaviors of hurting themselves, things like that
Right.
that children with
Right.
autism struggle
Right.
with, right? And lack of focus and all of that. So I
Mhm.
did. And
Mhm.
voila, the second part of my practice started, right? Which is where we provide holistic medicine for children with autism and ADHD by addressing the roots inflammation causes. So, addressing how do we improve sleep? How do we improve
Mhm.
your child's gut health, which improves your
Mhm.
child's brain health, which improves your
Mhm.
child's behavior, which improves your
Mhm.
child's sleep, right? And those
Mhm.
things are critical, right? Because if the
Mhm.
kid isn't sleeping, the parents aren't sleeping.
Mhm.
So we've
Right.
evolved into this, what I call myself an adult pediatrician now, because if I don't care for the parents, I'm like, okay, parents, are you sleeping? Are you eating? Okay, whatever I tell you, do for your kid, do for yourself, because it's
For
going to help.
yourself.
And that's
Right.
what we are seeing, right, across the board. So it's like family centered care, even though I'm a pediatrician. So,
Wow.
so yeah, that's what, and I have developed the habit of just being thankful. So
Yes.
now, like the other day when they said they found mold in my kitchen and I was like so upset and I was like, what?
I can only
My
imagine.
goodness. I went outside, put on my jacket, and I went for a walk and I was singing and I was like, Lord,
Were you dancing on the street again?
right? I was dancing on the street again, like, okay, it's time for war. Because I found that
Mhm.
gratitude I mean, worship is actually warfare, right?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
fighting. That's what God says. Praise me in
Mhm.
every circumstance. And He means it
Mhm.
because
Yes.
He
Yes.
inhabits, He lives in our praises. And so that's simply
Yes.
what gratitude is. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, yeah, He made a way, He provided the funds, the thing got fixed, all of it. And I was like, can you imagine if I had kept stressing and stressing and stressing? That would be so
Right.
sad. All God wanted me to was to just praise Him. And look, everything
Uh-huh.
just came together. So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love it. So first of all, listen, you and dancing on the streets.
You need to come over so both of us can dance on the street.
I'm saying that's where I'm going because I remember when I was growing up after being saved, whenever I would go to my cousins, I would be like jamming on the street, like I'm walking, dancing. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And so, yeah, I still do that. Now it's driving. So I'm like blasting my music and I'm like,
Yeah,
see
that's
my
even
way to
while
work.
you're
I
driving.
even
Just
want to do,
sing everywhere.
I even want to a video saying like, this is how I go to work.
For real. Yes, me too. I'm guilty of the blasting the music. I'm raising my hands. Well, I drive safely, everybody.
Here's one hand, okay?
One hand, not both hands.
Unless you're at the stop sign.
And then I'm
I
at the
mean, at the
stoplight and
stoplight.
I'm like, wow, everybody can see you. And then I'm like, okay, maybe they'll be encouraged to praise Jesus because I'm doing, I don't know.
I don't think I told you, but guess what? One time I was coming back from wherever I was coming back from, and I'm like in a stoplight, right? And there comes this biker. He comes, my music was loud. I was jamming hard. So he looks at me, he starts jamming to my music. And I look at him and we laughed and he kept jamming. And I'm like looking for my phone to snap a picture of us. But then the light turned green. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I kept
You never
that was a moment I will never forget.
Yeah, you never know who you're encouraging. Just seeing the big smile on your face, and it's like,
Right.
no, it's not because I have this. I mean, I could be going through who knows what. I have found that once you turn your mind on Jesus, right, turn your mind back on Jesus, on all He's done for you. When there's that verse in the Bible that says, "Remember all the things He's done for you." I'm serious.
Yes.
If you're ever feeling a funk and don't know what to do, just start remembering or even writing down all the things he's done. My goodness. Even the
So,
fact that you woke up and you can feel in the funk, that's a miracle by itself.
right. The fact that you woke up to feel the funk is a blessing.
Right.
My God. You dropping gems here. So I just really like your story because I like how God is very intentional. For some odd reasons, He allowed you, little you who hated being at the hospital, He made a traumatic event happen in your life. That friend of yours dying from a disease as small as asthma, put it in quote, because many times we ignore those kind of things. But having lack of money is just so heartbreaking because lo and behold, she passed because of that. But that was what God used to ignite your passion for medicine, because now it kind of like, pulled the strings of your heart to where like, I want to help so nobody has to ever die from something like that. That is so God. He'll do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't he say all things work for good? So even
Yes.
and I like to say especially the seemingly bad things. So that
Right.
wasn't a good thing necessarily that happened, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
little one went to heaven too early. Her parents
Yes.
lost their kid, but it also made me want to become a helper. So yeah.
Yes. He turned it around for your good and his good. And yeah, so many people now are having help because God used that, circumstance to actually stir you in the direction that He wanted to go. And then something that really made me annoyed and upset and angry, low key angry, is how sometimes, we get these people in our lives that come and talk nonsense in our lives. And then when we dare to believe it, it can stir us into the wrong direction. How could he was a doctor, tell you you are less than intelligent? You're a doctor to bring hope, but you want to bring death into somebody's destiny. So I really thank God that He planted you in a family of strong believers. Oftentimes, PhD holders tend to be all unbelieving of God. Sometimes or many times, they just like, okay, it's the science, it's the this, it's the that. But you come from a family of, two parents who are PhDs and who believe in God. And that also bring you to be, a MD who believes in God, because many of them think that they are God and that there's no God. So for us to even be doctors and fully rely on God, that's like, that's a blessing in itself.
Yes, absolutely. You're so right. You're
Mhm.
so right because there's so much knowledge in the world, right? And people feel
Yeah.
like they know. And why would they believe an old book? And then they go into the arguments about who wrote the book, when was the book written? What about the hidden books and all the things?
Right.
There's also a verse for that says, "Don't waste time with all these foolish arguments. Like
Right.
focus back
Right.
on who God says He is." And that's if you
Mhm.
just rest there, then you won't be sidetracked by all the arguments on the side,
Right.
taking you
Right.
nowhere, literally. Like, so what's the point?
Right.
Right.
And plus, I mean, God is the doctor by excellence. Like He's the optimal, like the ultimate doctor. So He's the one that we actually, look up to be able to doctor, if to doctor is a verb, because, he knows it all. And if you're like me, you would be in a position where, just like you said, in fact, with you opening the practice, he tells you, he show you that, he leads you, shows you direction. Remember, the time. So go back to that doctor, and you're like, yeah, like, and when you put it together, like, it's like, of course, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I remember many times where I would be in treatment. He was like, okay, look over here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's something like something that could have, arose that it's off the books. And, he knows how to handle everything.
Everything.
So, you can always rely on him, not just in marriage, not just in parenting, in everything, everything.
Everything. Literally. In
So,
everything. Yes. But of course, there's always our part we have to play, right? So
of course,
our part is to do the relying on and let him just do
exactly.
his part, which is the taking care of the things. So
It's the relying on, it's the asking, it's the obeying, it's the doing what he said.
exactly, because if we truly want to be women of impact or people of impact, right, we have
Yes.
to give him ownership, like call him the CEO of our lives, of our families, right? We
Yeah.
need to be CEOs of our families. So let God
Yeah.
be the CEO of your family, of your practice. I was just telling him that this morning. Just please just take over everything and just tell me what to do and just help me to do what it is you asked me to do. That's it. I think we'll
Yes.
be just fine if we do that.
And yeah, the most amazing thing is that, I mean, he does it all in a sense, like you just associate it to just like be willing to do that, because he's the one that gives you the power to listen. He gives you the power to do as well. Because without him, we can't do anything.
Nope.
But with him, we can do all things. So it's like you say yes and how, and then please help me. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yes, so
I
beautiful.
just, I just love Jesus. I'm just saying. But something else that I really like is that you said something when you said the key point here is that I believed him. So what do you say as a doctor who works with brain? How should someone then, what are some maybe like tips to help someone that was told something very negative to not rely on that and to actually lean on what they know to be true, which is positive, and believe in themselves? Like, what are some tips that you can share with us today?
Yeah, there's something I like to do, which is question the thoughts, right? Because once
Mm,
you question the thought, you stop it in its tracks and you don't let
mhm,
it get embedded in your head. So,
mm,
for example, okay, you're less than average intelligence. Well, what does
mhm.
God is remembering what God says about you. God says, I'm the head and not the tail. God says,
Right.
I have the mind of Christ. So therefore
Mhm,
I cannot
mhm,
be less than in intelligence. So if that thought comes in, you are less than average in intelligence. So the
mhm,
question I would ask that thought is that true?
mhm,
And the answer would be no. Or
mhm,
even if I said yes, I would ask the question again. Are you sure that thought is true? And at this
uh-huh,
point, your will start to kick in, like remembering what God says about you and what the truth really is. Because once you question things, you stop it in its tracks and it doesn't have that hold on you. And so when I get to the point where I've asked it again, like, is
mhm,
that really true? And the answer at this point is no. Then what's the truth? Then I start to
uh,
say it aloud. God said, the Bible says, open up your mouth and I'll fill it. We need to
uh-huh,
open our mouths. God spoke. We need to speak. You need to
uh-huh,
say what the truth is. So the truth is, no, I
mhm.
am not. Yes, I have an injury, but can I get better? Absolutely. Why? Because my
Absolutely.
father is my healer. My father says I have the mind of Christ. My father says I'm the head and not the tail. So
Mm,
if you go through the process of when a thought comes in your brain, stopping it, is that a true thought? If you're not
mhm,
sure, ask it again. Is that really a
mhm,
true thought? And what's the
mhm,
truth?
mhm.
I found that three-step process always works, right? Always
Okay.
helps me get back to what I know to be true.
Okay. And then another thing that I like, and I would like for you to talk about as well, is you said another key point was that your parents believed in you, and so they kept pouring into you. Do you find that this is also very important to surround yourself with positive minded people who can reinforce what they know to be true? about you or someone whenever you have lost that confidence?
Absolutely. Yes.
Hmm.
Even for the best of us, we still need people who can pour into us. I do that for
Yes.
Dr. Valerie. She does it for me and walks me up the
Yes.
ledge on the days I'm on the ledge and I try to fall off the ledge because
Yes.
my brain has simply decided to forget what I know to be true, right? Yeah, so
Right. Right.
you're absolutely like the five people that surround you, and all the trauma informed research that has been coming out over the last few years points
Hmm.
to even children just need one person who is going to speak life into them. Even if
Yeah.
there's nobody else, just one person will do it. So, yes, it's
Mhm.
absolutely important who you surround yourself with because
Yes.
whatever they say will take root in your mind. So,
Mm.
if you need to be around the people who are going where you want to go, right? If
Right.
you're around people who are not doing what like good things or don't believe that they can be better than where they are, find yourself a new group of people. Please, for your own sake, find yourself a
Mhm.
group of people who love God and who also are moving forward, not just love
Yeah.
God and are staying stuck because you can love God and
And stay.
say all the things and still be sitting where you are. God
Right.
works in partnership, right? We do our part and He does His part. So,
Peace.
yes.
I love it. Do you also find that maybe it could be frequent, but do you also find that remembering your past experiences, past victories, would that help as well? Because you were a straight A student that all of a sudden, upon believing that, started having Fs. Do you think that if you had remembered those things, could that have helped a little bit? Or was it still hijacked by the fact that now you had a second concussion?
Well, I mean, physically, I wasn't doing well, right? I had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
injuries. My neck was hurt from the
Mm-hmm.
concussion and all of that. So I was whiplashed. So physically, I wasn't doing well. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're in that space, it can be hard. So, I mean, my brain probably did need a break from school,
Yes.
which is fine. And we do recommend that, right? If
Mhm.
you have multiple concussions, you should take what's called a brain break and just give your brain time. But the thing
Okay.
is, after I did that and I came back to school because my parents made me, I wasn't at an F level anymore, right? I did better the next semester. So
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
all a
obviously,
combination
because
of
you
things.
graduated.
Yeah. Physical healing is important too. So,
Right.
yeah.
So now, Dr. Hokehe, why did you actually select now or choose to the field to help people with autism and ADHD? Like, why that?
I told you, you told me to do it.
Oh, yes, you did. You did.
Yeah. It was all him because
Mm-hmm.
on my own, I wouldn't do it. I would
Mm-hmm.
still be a general pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought that idea to me and it was so strong. Go get trained and start helping reduce the wait list because you understand as a pediatrician how important first 5 years of life is. So for a child that's waiting on a wait list for 3, 4 years, that's not going to be helpful to them because number one, they're not getting the support they need. Number two, they're being labeled as something they're not
Right, right.
because the daycare or the school may not be able to handle their behaviors or
Mm-hmm.
whatever may be going on with them. So and
Mm-hmm.
then it's impacting the family as a whole. So there's so many reasons why it's important to get an evaluation for autism done early, meaning first
Mm-hmm.
5 years if possible. So yes, he sent me to do it. That's the only
Wonderful.
reason I'm still doing it. Yep.
I'm glad he did. Do you find that prayer helps as well? Family going through a child having autism or
Yes,
ADHD?
yes, because I find myself praying with my patients. I ask them, do you believe in God? They say, yes, can I pray with you? And
Yes.
it helps them. They always say that it does because it's I mean on so many levels parents are grieving. Autism, yes, is a brain type, ADHD is a brain type, but then the behaviors that can come with it, like the not sleeping and then self-injurious behaviors, things like that, that's what
Right.
keeps parents like really afraid. I've had
Mm-hmm.
parents tell me they're afraid of their own kids. It keeps
Wow.
parents really frustrated and stressed out because they may not have all the resources they need to take care of these
Mm-hmm.
kids and they feel overwhelmed. They feel like they're forgotten. They feel like nobody sees them, nobody cares. But that's farthest from the truth. Yes, my job is not just to say, here's the medical way we can help you. It's also, here's Jesus that you can just, and we pray for our patients. We gather as a team and we pray for our patients every week because we
Wow.
firmly believe that our practice It's not just a regular medical practice. It's
Right.
God's practice, and it's a ministry, right? So we pray for our patients and we ask God to give us the wisdom and
Yes.
help them, and also for them to draw closer to Him as well, because that's
Mm.
important. They need God to be able to
Yeah.
navigate everything that it takes to parent a child with special abilities.
Right. Right. I remember one time I was in a prayer line and there was a lady that sent in anonymously, thank God, a prayer request, and she said that she felt like, I mean, her child had autism, and she felt like, she wanted to take her life. Do you find that a lot of parents are maybe not in that extreme position, but is there a lot of parents that are really falling into despair with these conditions?
Yes, yes, they are. They don't sleep. For example, if your child doesn't sleep, you're not gonna sleep. So they are
Hmm.
functioning on, and they still have to take care of the kids all day
Right.
and do
Right.
and go to work. So they're functioning
Yeah.
on no sleep, which if you don't sleep, your brain isn't going to function well. Doesn't matter what else you do.
Mhm,
So that's just one thing. So
mhm.
it often can fracture the family. It can pull at the fabric of the family, the whole bonding. Some parents can't take their kids out because they don't know what their kids would do in public, right?
Yes,
And how they'll
that's right.
behave. So then they're stuck at home, and then
And
people
then
don't
they
want to, right? And then people don't necessarily come over either, and they don't go over to anybody's house either because they feel like their kids might misbehave there or not follow directions or whatever the case may be. So it can be very isolating for parents. And if there isn't a outlet or a place that they can go to feel like, okay, somebody understands me and will love my child, me and my child, regardless
right,
of what's
right.
going on, then that can do a number on your mental health and feeling like you're not good enough and that you can't make it anymore. But my message is there is hope. All of these
Mhm.
things, the not sleeping, the self-injurious behaviors, the not focusing, the picky
The
eating, all of it can be improved. Absolutely can be improved. And so there is hope. And so parents, if you're feeling that way and you feel frustrated and you feel like you can't go on anymore, just please call us, reach out to us. We are here to help, and we walk alongside the journey with all our parents. And it's not just here's a diagnosis and bye. It's okay, here's a diagnosis. What else can we do to help you? How can we help you?
yeah,
There are resources in your state. Like I said, we're in 14 states and virtually. So how can we help you figure out resources? Because that by itself can be overwhelming because it's like
right.
it's such fragmented care. It's like do this here, do this over there, and do this over there. So it's like how do we even
Mhm,
figure out what to go, where to go,
mhm.
right? So it's helping parents navigate that maze and also helping them navigate the here are some changes you can practical small changes you can start to make in what your child is eating, because food is medicine. I'm going to say it
Yes.
again, food is medicine. It is medicine. And what our kids are putting in their mouths, what the parents are putting in their mouths, absolutely contributes to what you see that you don't necessarily like. And I've seen children be extremely aggressive, and I change one thing in their diet, and the aggression goes away. So, and I'm
Wow.
not claiming that I'm curing anybody of anything, but my goodness, if we can help your child sleep better, poop better, be less picky, no more self injurious behaviors, can focus better, then it's worth it, right? Because when they go to
Mhm.
school and therapy, then they do so much better. So that's what we do.
Yeah. I wanna tell the story of one of my friends. She's a very, very good friend of mine. She's also a doctor, and her daughter is my goddaughter, and she's autistic. And so in fact that's my second godchild that I've had. And so she's autistic, and I told her she does not look like she's autistic. She's highly functional, because as we know about autism, from me listening to my friend Dr. Hokehe, it's a spectrum. Different people look differently when they are actually autistic. And so she's really bright. She's taught herself how to read by herself when she was about starting at 3 or something. In fact, one day she read a text message that her mom was writing me, and she's like, and many times she's like, have you talked to Auntie Valerie? But anyway, I digress. But so she started displaying like some behavior that were very detrimental. She would beat her brother, and her mom would have to shield her little brother and take all the beating so she wouldn't actually hurt her son. So she was in distress a lot, and especially too, as I was saying, sometimes when you go in public, because she does not look autistic-ish, she looks like a normal child. She's actually really tall for her age. So she has all of that and she speaks very clearly. So then, sometimes when she misbehaved, they're like, looking at her funny, like the mom doesn't know how to educate the child. They don't know what's happening in the background. But yeah, she actually ended up having a conversation with Dr. Hokehe, who stirred her into a direction where she modified the baby's diet, and it made a big difference in just a short period of time. So this is me letting you know that, if you feel desperate or if you need hope or if you need help, please consider contacting Dr. Hokehe at Pediatrics, and she'll be a great asset to you, to the improvement of your child, but even yourself. What I really like about you, and I keep pondering and letting whoever I hear about that has autism, or even when I have kids that I suspect, because I can't diagnose, autism, but having spoken enough with you, I can pinpoint some things. And I'm like, what I really like about your practice is that you're not just helping the children, but you also help the parents, improving their quality of life. So I just love it. And I would always plug you and steer or direct my patients to you, especially, that you're actually working virtually. So that can really help. And the fact that you're in 14 states, please expand even to more states.
Yes,
I know it's not
yes,
easy.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Anything to
now,
say.
yeah, so that brings me to the question. If somebody wants to work with you, doctor, how would they do so? Where could they find you?
Yes, thank you for that. And thank you for the testimonial. I'm so glad that your goddaughter is doing better.
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank God for that. So
Thank you.
you can find me everywhere on social media. I'm on Facebook at Go Pediatrics or Dr. Hokehe Eko. I'm on IG. So our IG is a really good place to go if you're not sure where to start with nutrition, because we have lots of posts on there that are just very clear. These are the things
Mhm.
to take out of your kid's diet. This is where to find the things, and these are the brands, and these are the things that are good substitutions for you to add into your kid's diet. So that's at Glow Pediatrics on Instagram. And
Mhm.
then let's see, if you want to call our office, our phone number, I'm sure you put this in your show notes, but our phone
I
number
will.
is 405-871. You can
Mhm.
also reach us via email at info@glowpediatrics.com, and that's one word. So Glow
Mhm.
is GLOW, glowpediatrics.com. And let's see, where else? I'm on LinkedIn at Dr. Hokehe Eko. Where else?
On YouTube,
Yeah, on
I know you have
YouTube.
great
Oh my
content.
Lord. Okay. On YouTube at Dr. Hokehe Eko as well. I have a
Mhm.
podcast called Brain Power with Dr. Eko that's everywhere podcasts are listened to. So Apple, Spotify, all of that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm everywhere.
Please let us know also about your group. You have a Facebook group,
Oh,
correct?
yes, yes, I do. Thank you. I didn't say my website. Glowpediatrics.com. So
Thank you.
that's our website. And yes, we have a Facebook group and it's called what's it called? I will give you the name so you can put it in the group. Okay. I don't want to say the
Wonderful.
wrong name for a split second.
Yeah, we get brain freezes sometimes.
Listen, we're just thankful.
Yes.
We're here.
So thank you. Thank you so much. This brought a lot of hope, I know, to many people, not only to people who have, or parents who may have a child with autism, or somebody that may, because there's also some adult autistic people walking around. We just didn't know much about it in the past. So that happens too. But even to the person who's not going through that, but who has gone through life where they were told some things very negative about themselves, and you have helped us know how to bounce back and and how to pivot from whatever was negative into the positive. So question the thought that's coming your way. Is it true? Well, is it really true? So that you can come out and surround yourself with people who are very positive, who know you, know your value, you know your power, your strength, and can speak life into your life. So thank you so much. These were very valuable lessons. Truly appreciate it. Thank you for saying yes to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I'm very grateful for you, for your friendship, for who you mean to me, what you mean to me, all of the good things. And as I said, I truly do love you to pieces. Thank you for being in my life.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on here, and I hope this was helpful for whoever is listening. And thank you for what you're doing. You're a busy mom, you're a busy wife, have big old practice. Yes, everybody in Dallas who hasn't go to her dental practice. She's amazing. I've been there myself, so I can say for sure.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So yes.
It's
And
one testimonial for another.
there you go. See? Yes, from the staff to every part of it. Yes, very good. Excellent.
Thank you.
So what was I gonna say? Thank you for having me on here, and thank you for doing the podcast, right? And just sharing the power of gratitude and that's rooted in God, right? Not just
Yes,
we're grateful.
I'm grateful.
So I'm grateful too for you. God bless you
Yes,
for me.
absolutely. All right, everyone. So, thank you for listening to my dear friend. I know that this was very impactful for you, very insightful, very helpful. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please don't hesitate to do so. Like, comment, share, say, what you have found very valuable. We want to learn from you because something may have blessed me, but you may have taken it another way. And I might be like, it may be something that I have overlooked. So please put your comments down and share the episode. That would really help another person find the power of gratitude. And so that being said, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Science of Gratitude podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, share it, and leave us a review. Your support helps us keep spreading the power of gratitude. And until next time, stay grateful. God bless you.